How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Liberty Bowl. The old Trumpster doubling down again, and pretty much saying, he's pretty damn serious about putting drug dealers and basically the U.S. citizens to death for drugs. He's pretty making it pretty clear that he very much admires the drug policy of people like Xi Jinping. And yeah, like I say, it's really kind of rubbing a lot of us the wrong way. He's very much aware of it too. I don't know, it's just kind of weird. He seems to be really pandering to one fucking small portion of his supporters. And like I say, I am a Trump supporter as well. Like I say, I believe he's a necessary evil. I do actually want him to run again, and I would like him to win. I believe he's like I say, very necessary, but just some of the things he says is just completely off the wall. I'm aware of the fact that this particular one isn't most likely going to go down the way that he's you know preaching about it, but at the same time, it's just dude, why? Like, you're so close to fucking to election season, and you're really working as hard as you can to alienate your more moderate voter base, and yeah, it's kind of a disgruntling. But before we get into all of that, you guys, let's smoke some fucking weed. All right, here we go.
Well, let me run it down to you, communist, homosexual, faggot, dipshit, motherfucker. Fuck you, that's why. Cause fuck you, that's why. Cause helmets suck, that's why. And commies like you swallow, that's why. Fuck Pete Wilson, that's why. Fuck Dick Floyd, that's why.
Alrighty, guys, so let's go ahead and get into this old Trumpster video from the CPAC. There goes the barking seals.
You know, when I came out here a little while ago, I have a consultant, and he's a very nice person. He's a rhino. And he said to me, "Sir, I don't think you should say that last statement. I don't think you should say it. It's really not good. I don't think it'll be that popular." I said, "What? You mean the fact that we should let police do their job?" "Sir, I think it's probably not going to be received well." "I don't care. You have to let them do their job." He's a rhino, but he's a nice person. We'll probably keep him on the payroll, you know. We need to return to the tried and true strategy of a thing called stop and frisk. We have to take the guns away from people that are criminals. Instead of taking guns away from law-abiding Americans, let's take them away from the violent felons and career criminals for a change.
Okay, now let's start there. Okay, so he starts out with the first thing that his advisors are telling him is going to be a very unpopular opinion, and that is stop and frisk. Just basically, I don't know, a lot of his constituents, things like that. There, or at least not the barking seals down there at that go down to support him and things like that. But a lot of people that do support him that are more libertarian leaning, they're not so big on his whole red flag laws and his whole ideas of stop and frisk and things like that, and it's for good reason, because that's some pretty things, some pretty slippery slopes that could lead to some tyrannical regimes.
And we also need a no-holds-barred national campaign to dismantle organized crimes. These are street crimes. Organized crime today is on the streets, and this administration doesn't want to talk about that crime. They want to talk about what they think are other crimes, and many people say they're not crimes. We have to round up the drug dealers, the gang members, and the dangerous offenders, charge them for their crimes, and get them either out of our country and back to where they came from, or put them behind bars.
Okay. Now here, he's talking about mainly the illegals that are bringing in drugs. Basically the cartel people and stuff like that. And much of us would agree that cartels are bad. Drugs are bad. Okay, and all that good stuff. But at the same time, much of us would also agree that there's a probably a better way to go about taking away drugs. I mean, taking away guns and stuff like that from criminals rather than just stop and frisk. I mean, I'm not too sure what it is, but at the same time, I'm also a libertarian. I don't believe in taking away guns from people. Period. Basically, I believe in the right to defend yourself, and yeah, I believe basically everybody should have a fucking gun, in my opinion. But apparently, not everybody agrees with that, and so that's why we get to where we are here. So now he starts to go into his views on drugs and drug dealers. And now, as I've mentioned before, yeah, cartels they should be designated narco terrorists, and they should be treated as such. And basically, we should send in the troops and go get that taken care of. A lot of people, especially government people, will argue against that. For whatever reason. It's their reasons and things like that. They say, oh, they're motivated by money. They're not motivated by political change and things like that. But ultimately, who gives a shit if they're motivated by political change or not? They're motivated by killing our fucking citizens and making money off of it. So, fuck them. But that's just my opinion. Apparently, like I say, for whatever reasons, the government doesn't quite agree with me. So they feel it'd be better just to kill our own citizens instead. For using such drugs.
If you look at countries throughout the world, there's another thing. Please don't say it, sir. Please, sir. I've been doing this for 30 years, sir.
And real quick, just before he goes into this part, I do also want to mention that many people that at least Americans, the low level street dealers that sell drugs and stuff like that are really mostly just selling to support their own habit. There's really not too many people out there that are just straight up dealing drugs just for the sake of dealing drugs. I mean, other than the higher level people and stuff like that. And at the same time, shit, lock them up if I can give them a good amount of time. Because like I say, the majority of people that are at that higher level, they're either gang members, gang affiliated, or they're cartel affiliated. And in which case, yeah, definitely lock them up for a very long time. But at the same time, I don't believe in if they're American citizens. I don't believe in killing them. If they're foreign nationals and aka narco terrorists, yeah, get rid of those sons of bitches. Fuck them. But like I say, I'm all for basically letting people make their own mistakes and dealing with the consequences. Whether that be definitely not so much the legal consequences, because as we see, Trump over here is trying to restart the war on drugs again, and we all know how that ends up working out. Basically, like I say, when we legalized cannabis for the most part all over America, the cartels really stopped kind of sending it in because there's no money to be made there because what they send in is garbage. And basically, like I say, if you were to legalize all drugs, then people would be able to get their cocaines and all their other wonderful stuff without being laced with fentanyl, and then we wouldn't really have to worry so much about fentanyl. And at the same time, like I say, the issue would inherently fix itself. Like we see with cannabis, a lot of people, especially the younger crowd and stuff like that, they're not too big on weed anymore. They're just kind of like, yeah, whatever. But and I feel like once they see the damaging effects of all the other drugs, they'll probably think pretty similarly.
Then I looked at his list of wins. It's not too good. Please don't say it, sir. If you look at countries throughout the world, the only ones that don't have a drug problem are those that institute the death penalty for drug dealers. That's it.
See, now I'm not for abolishing the death penalty. Like say if you're a child molester, if you make child pornography, fuck yeah, you should get the goddamn death penalty. If you murder children, if you're a serial killer, something like that, yeah, you should probably get the goddamn death penalty. If you're a fucking hitman for the cartel, if you're a fucking hitman for a gang or something like that, yeah, you should probably get the goddamn death penalty. But if you're just a fucking drug dealer, shit, is essentially you're a fucking capitalist. Fucking shit. If anything, they should just give you some better direction. If I mean, like I say, that's all kind of joking and shit like that. Of course, we know the fucking government doesn't really tend to help drug dealers, even though they tend to have a bit more of a, like I say, capitalist mindset than the rest of the people. But that's neither here nor there. So let's go on and continue on.
When I was in China, and until the plague came in, I had a very good relationship with President Xi. We made a great trade deal for our manufacturers and farmers, but after the plague, I don't even talk about that deal. Too much damage done. But I had a great relationship with President Xi of China. Strong man. You could go all over Hollywood. You couldn't get an actor to play the role of President Xi. He's a great guy in many respects, but he's not too in love with our country. I can tell you that. But I said very innocently, do you have a drug problem? First time I met. And he looked at me like, what kind of a stupid question is that? No, I said, President, do you have a drug problem in China? No, I don't have it. Why would we have a drug problem? I said, well, what do you do? Oh, quick trial. Quick trial. I said, what's a quick trial? Quick trial is they bring drug dealers quickly to trial, and if they're guilty, it's immediate execution. Now, it sounds horrible. Sounds horrible. It does, sounds horrible, but...
Yep, hear the little barking seals in the background. Woo! Yeah, you guys are basically pleading for your own fucking enslavement. And the majority of people in America have a family member or somebody that is addicted to drugs, and guess what they generally do to support their habit? They also sell drugs. So, yeah, your little nephew and shit like that, you're cheering on the execution of your own family. Basically, that's all that's going on here. But so what's with this relationship with China? Right? So Trump really seems to be a bit of a fan of old Xi Jinping there. So what he says is that basically they don't have a drug problem. So what they do have is they have a fucking authoritarian dictator problem. Same with places like Singapore and fucking like the Philippines, shit like that. Yeah, they fucking execute their drug users and shit like that. So essentially they don't have a fucking problem with them. 'Cause, yeah, like I say, they don't have a fucking a drug problem. They have a fucking authoritarian dictator problem, and it seems like that's what we're on the fast track to. But at the same time, I'm also, like I say, I'm a realist. I'm aware. I'm also a Trump supporter. Oddly enough, but because the fact that I'm aware that this type of thing will not, it won't fly either way. It's like I see, he knows it's an unpopular opinion and stuff like that, and ultimately, if he comes in and starts executing, citizens, he's going to be, removed almost immediately. So and I know very well that these types of things aren't going to happen, and it's more or less just kind of a showboating and stuff like that, but either way, it's some sick shit to be talking about for your own goddamn fucking citizens. Like I said, I could understand with the fucking cartel. Designate them goddamn narco terrorists and go in and wipe them sons of bitches out, build the fucking wall. There you go, problem solved. But yeah, the whole fucking killing your own citizens for using drugs like that because you admire fucking Xi Jinping and these other fucking foreign dictators. Yeah, that's not definitely not going to go over well with the people.
Every drug dealer in this country, they say on average, will kill at least 500 people. Some people think it's much higher than that. So you would stop it. And I believe if you instituted the death penalty for drug dealers, traffickers, I believe that drug dealing would go down 50% on day one. 50%. I really believe that. I think it goes down the day you institute it. I'll tell you one thing, if I'm a drug dealer, I'm going to say, no thanks, I'm going someplace else.
All right, so is he talking about all drug dealers here? What about the big pharma and stuff like that? What about the people that make and manufacture and sell OxyContin and Percocets, things like that often are the gateway drug to harder opiates like heroin and fentanyl. So what about those? Are they also going to be held accountable? Are you going to go in and execute every one of them because they're probably some of the biggest drug dealers in America? But we don't seem to worry about that, do we?
So are other people. In Singapore, you see what's going on in Singapore? Very rich society, very powerful on drugs. They have no drug problem whatsoever. A lot of money, plenty of money to buy drugs. They have no drug problem. They have the death penalty for drug dealers. Other countries likewise. We form blue ribbon committees where we put our great First Lady, Melania. She's in charge.
Melania. So we put our great First Lady Melania Trump in charge of this blue ribbon committee, which is basically blue ribbon committees are basically appointees that are supposed experts in in such fields, right? So a blue ribbon committee on drugs would basically require drug experts and things like that. And so he's basically saying that Melania Trump is going to head this committee. So I'm interested to know what her drug expertise is.
Each October, we observe National Substance Abuse Prevention Month. In my time as First Lady, I have worked to raise awareness about the risks and dangers of drug use among our youth through my Be Best initiative. The goal of Be Best is to encourage children to practice healthy habits in their daily lives. It's important that we support our next generation and teach them about the dangers of drug use. This month, I'm pleased to join Director Jim Carroll of the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy to help raise awareness and encourage youth across America to lead healthy, drug-free lives.
We have a blue ribbon committee headed by the First Lady and very nice people, fine, fine people, dilettantes, socialites. If they ever met a real killer drug dealer, if they ever met El Chapo or any of these people, I think that would be the end of them. They'd say, I'm not doing this anymore. But we have blue ribbon committees headed up by great people that really are well-meaning. And and I will tell you, our First Lady did a good job. She worked hard, and we got drugs down 19%. That's great. But you know what that is? That's like nothing. And today it's worse than it's ever been because the border's so open that not only people are coming through, and bad ones, criminals are emptying their jails into our country, but drugs are coming into our country at a level that we've never seen before. Fentanyl coming in from China. You know, I was with Xi and I said, listen, you can't send fentanyl, you can't do it. They were really cutting down.
I said you can't send fentanyl in here anymore, G. Come on, buddy. Please stop. And he was really considering doing it, you guys. We were really, making some steps on, G to stop sending fucking fentanyl in here. And, I was almost done blowing him. I was cradling the balls and everything. And, we were real close to him finally, stopping the fentanyl flow into America.
They were really cutting down. Things were going really well. And then this tragedy happened in November, 2 years ago. Tragedy. It was a tragedy for our country what happened because of what's gone on. All they had to do was leave everything in place. This place was going so good, and they couldn't help themselves. What a sad thing. But when I see these blue ribbon committees, it's just, and everyone wants to get on. Could I get on the blue ribbon committee, says the local architect? Yeah, but they don't know what's happening here. No, you need the death penalty for drug dealers. Drugs will go down immediately by 50% and probably more. But you have
And so will your support at the same time.
to mean it, and you have to mean it. And when you look at China and other places, they don't have a problem. If they had that problem, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing right now. And they weren't. They had this problem many, many decades ago. And other countries far smaller were able to invade them and take them over because everybody was suffering from drugs. And they said, we can't do this. So it's not very politically correct to say it, but you'll save millions and millions of lives. Last year, we lost probably 250,000 people to drugs. 250. There's no war. If you were at war, these are numbers that are bigger than war numbers. 250,000. They say it's 100,000. I say it's much more than that. It's probably much more than 250,000, but you also have destroyed millions and millions of families throughout our nation because of drugs. In places where there is a true breakdown of the rule of law, such as the most dangerous neighborhoods in Chicago, The next president should use every power at his disposal to restore order, and if necessary, that includes sending in the National Guard or the troops.
Right. Why don't you send him into Mexico? I know it might kind of disrupt our relations with them, but our relationships with them is they're not really doing anything about the cartel either, and they clearly are much aware of the fact that the cartel is is clearly destroying lives here in America, but they're not really willing to do anything to try and stop them. So in which case, like I say, we need to designate them narco terrorists and go ahead and get rid of them.
Every American of every background deserves to live in safety and in peace. Every American.
Alrighty, you guys. Well, that's about it. So, thank you guys for watching. Definitely appreciate all the new followers. Definitely appreciate all the love we're getting in the comment sections, things like that. All the conversations, everything. It's good times here. I definitely hope you guys are checking out our other segments. Musings of a Joe Schmo. We're doing rethinking idioms. We're doing our longer weekend shows. Where like I say, we're doing a whole bunch of stuff, seeing what works the best, seeing what you guys respond to the best, and we're also doing our own individual, segments, things like that. Don't forget to like and subscribe, people. Definitely share these videos out. We appreciate all of you guys. Well, that's about it. Peace.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, bitch!